Welcome to CallumConnects, 5-minute entrepreneurial inspiration for your day. Joining us today on CallumConnects Micro-Podcast is Talitha DeVilliers. Talitha is a mental health professional and author of the debut novel, Tangled Roots Grow in Darkness.
A hurdle I have faced as an entrepreneur is one so common I am asked constantly in my other line of work in the field of mental health how to combat it. That is, fighting self-doubt and simply finding time. I have worked in mental health for nearly 15 years, and for as long as I can remember, I've had another dream, to write. A dream that has persistently taken a backseat to the daily demand of making a good living. In my professional work, I've done many hundreds of evaluations with children and adults alike. One of the questions I get asked the most from people struggling with anxiety, depression, PTSD, or a whole host of other conditions is, what do I do? They tell me, I'm struggling so much to get out of bed, or talk to people, or even get out for groceries. It's been this way as long as I can remember. I'm tired of feeling this way. If only things were different. So, what do I do? It's a simple enough question, but one that assumes an answer that is large. The mental games we play with ourselves, the self-doubt, and the excuses that we don't have time today, those are ubiquitous hurdles, ones that have stood in my way too. After all, I got caught up in working in mental health for nearly 15 years, and I still hadn't gotten around to doing anything about that other little dream, writing a novel. Well, the advice I give to those asking what do I do may sound simple and redundant, but the first step is simply taking the first step. Most people have thought about how much they want change, but if thinking alone would have changed anything, would have solved any problems, they probably would have solved not only their own problem, but everyone else's too. In the end, you have to do something. The important thing is that you're getting out of your current routine. If it's hard to leave the house, walk to the mailbox or drive around the block. Is that going to solve the problem? No, but it's a first step. And once you've taken the first step, you can take the second. Well, I might not have struggled with debilitating anxiety or depression, and for that I'm certainly grateful. But it dawned upon me one day that I was not even taking my own advice. Doing nothing changes nothing. So while I had always wanted to be a writer, I wasn't dedicating much time to it, and like anyone else venturing into a creative pursuit, self-doubt dogged me and kept my dream on the back burner. I wasn't actively doing anything in that venture, until I did. Last year, when the world shut down with the COVID-19 pandemic, I was out of work for 3 months. I thought to myself, if I don't write a book now, I never will. So I did. I took the first active step, took out my laptop, and began to write. I already had in mind the story because a writer's creative mind is never shut off, no matter how many other things there are to occupy one's time. And then I wrote the next day and the day after that, and lo and behold, the novel poured out of me as though it had been aching to all along. I read it over and over, thinking at times I loved it, and at other times it's terrible, because at no point did doubts fail to creep in. But I ignored them, and I didn't stop there. Eventually I went back to working full-time, but the wheels were in motion and under no circumstance would I allow them to halt. I edited the book myself time and again, and then I took the next step and went through the line editing process, and then I navigated my way through the world of self-publishing. All of this was entirely new to me, but I did it anyway. I did it knowing there was a very good chance I wouldn't make a dime on this novel, and that it took up a lot of my time and energy to focus on it. I did it knowing there were a great many other things I could be doing with my time. I did it knowing that people may read it and simply hate it. But the fact is, I did it anyway. I took the first step. Then I took the second step, and then the third, and so on. And now, I can say I have accomplished a lifelong dream of having written and published a novel. Having learned so much along the way, the door now stands wide open for me to walk through it again. And those pesky doubts? Now those are on the back burner. So no matter what the goal, no matter the hurdle, just remember that doing nothing changes nothing. Take that first step, like I did, and you'll never again have to think, if only.
If you have enjoyed today's show or got any value from today or previous episodes of CallumConnects, do please subscribe and leave a review. It means the world to our guests to be able to see when their sharing has led to your learning.